Hello, everyone, and thanks for finding my blog. I had a great reaction to my last blog, which was about Carl Jung and his views on the collective unconscious. And because of that, it stimulated me to go back and look at the teacher of Carl Jung, which was Dr. Sigmund Freud, who, as you probably know, was from Austria, and he was a psychiatrist and the founder of the psychoanalytic movement. Now, it's very fashionable to trash his ideas now. In fact, it has been since at least the 1960s. And there are some pretty good reasons why this should be so. As examples, Freud was a great supporter of the medicinal use of cocaine and tobacco, and he paid a heavy price for this because he died in 1939 in London from cancer of the jaw, which was almost certainly due to his heavy use of cigars. Now, obviously, I've looked at all of his various theories, and I won't go into those now, but the one that particularly intrigued me was his concept of the unconscious mind and the origin of thought. Now, he split the brain into three functions, as we now talk about the conscious, the unconscious mind, left brain, right brain. But anyway, he divided it into three, and it started with the id, and then the ego, and then the super-id. Now, a very brief description of each of these categories. The id is what we would call the unconscious mind and is childlike in its simplicity, loves playful ideas, but as a result has very marked bohemian tendencies, which could be very antisocial. So the ego is there as the logical, conscious part of the brain, which moderates the input that it gets from the id. And the super-id is like the moral policeman who looks at all of the output of the id and the ego and presents it to the outside world in a way that is morally and legally justifiable. But how about if it's the other way around? How about if the super-id is the originator of all thought, and all of these thoughts come from the deep part of the brain, which is the reptilian brain, and that's quite a plausible explanation. Now, of course, the problem is with these primitive emotions is that they are often rather negative, and the strongest primitive emotion that we have is fear. And there are many things to be fearful about, and many things which we shouldn't be fearful about. So a thought arises in the super-id and then is processed by the id, and more pleasure and pleasurable experiences added to it, or even stronger negative ones for that matter. And then this combination of thoughts passes to the ego, where it has to be justified logically to the world. So we have to find the words that will explain why a deep thought from the super-id actually is not as ridiculous as it might sound. And people can justify the most extraordinary things in this way. So if all of this is true, and I have no idea whether it is not, it's just fun to think about these things, then it would go a long way to explaining why people, and indeed nations, can sometimes come up with the strangest ideas and decisions. And we see this in the world all the time. So let's hope that I'm not entirely true, and let's hope that our ego and our id can have more influence to make our lives more positive. So that is plenty for you to think about. Thanks again for watching the video, and let me know what other subjects you'd like me to cover. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, by the way, go to my blog, I'll give you the link, and I present these ideas in a fuller sense and hopefully more understandable as well. So until next time, have a great week, and I hope that it is a very lucky one for you as well. So until then, goodbye.